I'm John Batchelor. Mary Kissel of the Wall Street Journal editorial page is here with me. And we prepare to discuss Duchess Elizabeth Warren, who used to be a law professor at Harvard Law School, but is now, of course, a member of royalty. And she's seeking to step down from the House of Lords and run for the seat from Massachusetts in the U.S. Senate. I believe some guy named Brown holds it now, but that's a moment before the Duchess throws him away. Mary, you've been preparing the Wall Street Journal editorial pages. You at the editorial page have been preparing everybody for some time that Elizabeth Warren was coming. And it's good that she has to stop in Massachusetts on her way to the emperorship. Elizabeth Warren apparently is deaf to the fact that she has no audience, that her forcing through the Financial Bureau, the Credit Financial Bureau, that she's going to guard us all, has failed in Washington, and it's going to fail everywhere in the United States. She's ignorant of that, and she's now on the pages of HuffPo announcing that she's running for Senate in Massachusetts. I'm of two minds on this. First, it's a good thing that we can send her to Massachusetts and that she's not going to be in Washington. Secondly, the question is this a politician?
Well, we're going to find out, John. Look, I think it's terrific if she wants to run for Senate, because that's actually a fair fight where she has to get out in front of the voters and convince voters of her platform. And as you said, I think her platform is pretty clear. She made her name scaremongering about how scary credit card companies and banks and mortgage brokers are and how they're all out to get you, basically, middle-class America. She made a great career out of that. It's a very populist pitch. And she'll probably make a populist pitch for Senate in Massachusetts if she indeed decides to run.
We don't know that, but it sure looks like it. She's making phone calls. That's what we have.
That's what the Huffington Post is reporting.
And duchesses don't make phone calls unless, of course, they plan to ask for your vote, your money first. Warren has not responded for some time to the criticism about the Bureau because she didn't get it. It was passed off to this fellow from Ohio, right? No, the second choice was the Ohio Attorney General.
Well, Richard Cordray, the former Ohio AG, was nominated but hasn't been confirmed.
I was just assuming he was going to take the job. He has also interesting questions, but he's nowhere near as interesting as the Duchess. Did she ever respond to the criticism that this was without supervision by Congress, that it was essentially a dictatorship that she'd constructed?
You know, she was very careful in the way she responded to Congress. She tried to compare her new agency to other banking agencies, but of course that's a false comparison because other banking regulators have safety and soundness considerations. They have to worry about, okay, if the regulations I'm putting in place, is it going to endanger the U.S. banking system? Consumer Financial Protection Bureau doesn't have to worry about that. So when she would answer these questions, she would deflect and try to change the subject or give false comparisons. And
did she understand that the criticism was to correct excesses and some blind spots, or did she regard the criticism as an affront, as an enemy? I just did. I watched it now and again, but I didn't study it the way you did.
Right. I think she's a true believer in the power of government and the righteousness of regulators to fix every problem that they either perceive is out there now or could be out there in the future. So I think she does get very affronted when people argue with her policy ideas because she really does resolutely believe she's in the right, and she doesn't like to get challenged on those ideas. In that way, she's very similar to the fellow who brought her into the administration, and that's President Obama.
Let's go to another kind of governance that makes it clear that it's not interested in the people. That would be the People's Republic of China.
Right.
No question whatsoever, non-transparency and arbitrariness. And a very famous artist, Ai Weiwei, who was jailed for income tax, which he pled guilty to.
Supposed. That's what they said he did.
He assented to something in order to be released, and was released back into his own custody. He's in custody of himself. As long as he doesn't communicate...
House arrest.
Yes, as long as he doesn't communicate his opinions, which are that the regime is...
fundamentally...
Unacceptable. All right. And now he's taken to social media to vent himself.
This is really, really quite an extraordinary act of courage. Ai Weiwei is very special in China because he is the son of a very famous revolutionary. So
He's a princeling.
Yes, so he, in some senses, feels that he's protected in that he can speak out, tell the truth about the one-party state in China and how they treat their people, and not really pay the consequences for it. And he's been pushing the boundaries for a long time. So when China imprisoned him and what looks like abused him, psychologically or otherwise in prison, that was a very strong signal. The one-party state was going to push back, but now he's back. And he was very big on China's Twitter-like service before he went to jail, and now he's back out there again. He is defying the authorities. This is a real test of the ability of Chinese citizens to speak their mind under this one-party state. And I tell you what, I hope that the United States government stands up and supports him.
Finally, 30 seconds, Mary, always for Red Julia. I read from the Australian, this is the Australian National Affairs,
Right.
that Red Julia was in West Australia pitching to an audience, and that she's finding some positive response to her carbon tax. We'll continue this over the weeks, but the pounding and also the redistribution model is having some effect for the polls.
Well, look, when the global slowdown comes to Australia, I think that whatever uptick she's having right now is going to be very short-lived.
Mary Kissel, Wall Street Journal editorial page. I'm John Batchelor.